Good morning, YouTube. I'm Ogif. This is the Yamaha Aerox 155 and Rahul's back there riding Rage. I don't know if you can see him in the rearview mirror. We are on our way to Tansa Dam. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, so I've had the Aerox for about a week now. Mainly have been doing city runs on it. It's been fun to ride it in the city, but we decided to take it out on the highway this weekend. It won't really be out of place with the other motorcycles that are coming here, but yeah, it's not exactly RC 390 speed. So there's that. But yeah, it should be a fun ride nevertheless.
A few moments later.
Alright, Ankit has backed out from the ride today, but Brian has made it here on his Daytona, so this ride just got a little faster. I hope he can keep up with the Aerox. Gets a lot of stares at traffic signals, as you can see. It's got a really nice engine for the city. I've been outrunning a lot of other 150, 200cc motorcycles too while I was at it. And since the motor is derived from the R15 engine, it's no surprise that it performs that well. What is surprising is the mileage that you get out of this. I believe you get about 40 to 50 kilometers per liter depending on how you ride it. And that VVA technology that's been brought down from the R15 too kind of helps in that. He didn't even stop, he just asked the question and he f***ed off like on the left. One thing worth noting on the Aerox is that it has minimum, and I mean really barely minimum, vibrations throughout the rev band. Right from the time you crank it up until you hit its top speed, which I'm still yet to explore, there's absolutely zero vibrations almost. What is this guy's number plate? Chocolate? What the f***? Now, while the engine on this is brilliant, the suspension, I think that's the Achilles heel. See, it's very stiff. In fact, it's almost as stiff as something you'd set up for the racetrack. Probably even stiffer than that, I think. At least from the motorcycles I've had a chance to ride at the racetrack on. But yeah, it's extremely stiff. And every single pothole, every single bump, every single speed breaker, you're going to experience on this. And I'm not saying that as someone who's been riding motorcycles for the longest time and then switching over to a scooter for this ride. I'm saying that as someone who rides a sports bike on the RC 390, which is considered one of the least comfortable motorcycles currently on the market here in India. Of course, it's not made for comfort, so let's not get into that. But coming from that onto this, I feel uncomfortable with the way the suspension is set up. And that's saying a lot. And it's such a shame about the suspension on this because they've done such a brilliant job with everything else on the scooter. It just doesn't make sense. The build quality is brilliant. It handles wonderfully. It rides beautifully. The engine's smooth. The brakes are decent. Could have been better at the front at least. The headlights are nice. Mirrors, can't complain. But that suspension, man, it's such a letdown. And I thought maybe having a pillion at the back would kind of balance things out and make things a little more comfortable for me. It did get a little comfortable for me as a rider, but any pillion who sat on the back of this wasn't really happy with it. There isn't enough cushioning on that pillion seat. It's really high up there, so you get a good view. I'm guessing your knees won't pain because the angle that your knees would then be in wouldn't be that aggressive. But the rear suspension was still very unforgiving. Keeping in mind the performance that's on tap, I think they could have done a better job with the brakes, at least in the front. It has a 230mm disc, ABS, rear is a drum brake, and yeah, it doesn't offer enough feel or bite at the front, and that's a bit concerning. when you make similar power figures to what the R15 offers, you want to be sure that you can stop it quickly enough, and I don't have enough confidence in the front brakes, unfortunately, which is why I'd personally probably hold back from gunning it on the highway. Of course, I'd not gun it on the highway irrespective, but you know what I mean. The overall build quality of the scooter is really nice. I think the switches, the instrument cluster, everything has been put together really, really well. And I don't think there's any vibrations as such that you hear from the bodywork that would make you feel that it's not a premium scooter. The headlights on this are also really nice. I was riding it in evening traffic, and the headlights did a really nice job of illuminating the road ahead of me. Even when I was riding this around at night, visibility was never a problem. That headlight almost works like how the R3 headlights work, which I was a big fan of. Now, I saw a lot of reviews out there talking about how the Aerox would be a great touring scooter. And initially my impression was, what's going on here? Why are people suddenly talking about scooters as touring vehicles and not two-wheelers that you use within city limits? Of course, don't get me wrong, I know quite a few people who are well-established scooter riders who've been riding all over India on their scooters. But I haven't seen so much focus being put on a scooter in reviews to be pitched as a touring vehicle, and that's what was a little weird to me. Now, having said that, there's two things about the Aerox that really stood out for me. One is the performance of this engine. Brilliant, smooth, can do touring speeds 80, 90, 100, somewhere around there very easily throughout the day. Second, the mileage that it offers. Small fuel tank, yes, you will have to stop a little more frequently than you would have to on a motorcycle, but it does give you a decent mileage, and it would allow you to reduce the number of stops you make overall if you were to take another scooter probably and gun it like this, of course. Storage capacity, I think that's something that really, really stands out. I've been able to put my drone, 2 cameras, tripods, and my case for the batteries and everything else in there too without any problem, and there's a lot more space in there. Couldn't resist, could he? Well, here we are, Tansa Wildlife Sanctuary. I think we can head down that road and see a little bit more. Roads are really nice around here, man. Never expected them to be this good. A couple of my friends who I was speaking with yesterday said that the roads were messed up around here, but couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, this doesn't seem right. Looks like a police quarters of some sort.
I have a few questions
About the bike?
just in general, man, about life.
About life?
Don't worry. It'll be entertaining.
So we're not allowed to go inside the dam area. That's what the police people or guards or whatever they were saying. But I don't know how those 2 guys got down there, you saw? There were a couple of bikes down there next to the water only. I don't know how they reached there.
This is like a fucking. This is a end to the right, man. So we went to Tansa.
We went to the dam, but who do I think this scooter is suited for? Well, if you're someone who's looking to get similar power than the R15 makes in your two-wheeler, and you're not one to be bothered by gears and, well, not riding gears but shifting gears, and don't want to be hassled with the discomfort that comes along with riding a sports focused motorcycle, then the comfort that this offers, well, in comparison to an R15, and the storage capacity too that this comes along with, should offer a lot of bang for the buck. Again, keep in mind that you do get the additional storage space under the seat, so you don't really have to carry a lot on your back, and that's another added advantage. The only downside being, like I said, the suspension, and in a scooter, in any scooter for that matter, the small tank capacity. Apart from that, I think it's all positives mostly. So if you are considering a two-wheeler and a scooter which is peppy, which handles really well and offers you significant amount of storage for your daily runs and for your weekend rides as well, then I think this ticks all the right boxes there.
A few moments later.
Now I need to fill up fuel on my way back home, and my friend told me that there's some JioBP, or this is it, a JioBP petrol pump that I should be visiting. So it's a really cool concept. I'll check it out, figure out what exactly is so great about it over here. Now when I rode into the fuel station, I thought my friend was only referring to how the service would be of a higher standard here. But apart from that, the attendant also mentioned that they provided additivized fuel with internationally developed active technology at the same cost as regular fuel. So I filled Rage up, made a digital payment, and was ready to ride out. The attendant then pointed out that I could also have my motorcycle's engine oil changed at the Castrol Express oil change. Rage was due for an oil change, and I had already planned to change the oil myself later that day. So I went over to check if I could buy a couple of liters of the Castrol Power One Ultimate 15W50 oil. The attendant mentioned that the entire range of Castrol oils were available, and if I purchased the oil from them, they would change the oil in my motorcycle within a few minutes and at no additional cost. So I decided to give it a try. Now this device would firstly be used to create pressure within the engine, then drain all the old oil out of the motorcycle, flush and clean the engine before the attendant would finally fill the new engine oil into my motorcycle. They also had a handy catalogue of the recommended oil and grades for each vehicle to help you decide which oil would suit your vehicle. In addition to fueling up, the station also had JioBP Pulse charging points for electric vehicles and a 24/7 shop that offered everyday essentials to customers on the go, and a cafe that served freshly brewed coffee along with reasonably priced snacks for travelers to enjoy when they visit. 15 minutes later and my engine oil change was completed. Do keep in mind that you will have to carry a replacement oil filter, as they do not sell these parts over here. I was very pleased with how professionally and swiftly the oil change was handled and how well kept and thought through the entire fuel station was. Hopefully we see more such JioBP fuel stations around soon. Alright, that's pretty much all I had for today. Thank you again so much for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't like Sahil, well, share feedback in the comments. As always guys, at least wear your helmets while riding your motorcycles and scooters as well. And ride safe. It's a freaking jungle out there, with people spitting. Goodbye.
Net boss with a great bag. Came up, you can't hate that. Self-made, you can't take that. Yeah, self-made, you can't make that. Some said I need a record deal, I need a co-sign, I need a Dre track. But all the time I had a mean flow, I had a cold grind, and that's a great match. Payback, codes and I make racks. And my pockets gon' stay fat, cause I murk beats and I slap.